everyone, so thank you for joining me and doing this quick interview about the SWABA, Swedish OBM conference here in Stockholm, Sweden. So let's do some quick introductions if you would mind.
Leif Andersson.
Yeah.
Annika Strömsten. Sara Ingvarsson.
Martin Karlström.
Rolf Olofsson.
All right, and sitting in front of me is the fantastic team that put on this amazing conference. So I wanted to do this quick interview and ask 4 questions so we can provide information to the world at large about what happened here in Stockholm, Sweden. Okay? So let's start with, this conference was called Applied OBM Conference, held in 2018. So what was the purpose of the Applied OBM Conference?
I think the most important part that we want to have people working with OBM today, whatever they are, either consultants or something else, not presenting paper they have written in the university. So we want people like that. So really we can exchange experiences and knowledge. Yeah.
Very good.
And one other thing was to have it sort of really interactive, to make sure that people were discussing and really exchanging ideas, not passively listening to what one person was saying, but actually discussing and learning from each other. And networking, of course. Yeah.
Excellent.
And I think one proposal as well was that we were starting the conference before the actual conference, when we reached out to the attendees, asking them to prepare, asking them to read something before, and we also continue the conference afterwards with the presentations being. It's possible to get them then through the SWABA homepage.
Yeah, so for me, the participation, the practitioner focus, and then the whole networking during and after, fantastic.
Yeah.
So that leads me to my second question. What was for you the most amazing part of this conference?
I think it was to see, 100 people coming in, and we were aiming at maybe 50, 60, and 25% being, outside Sweden. So that was really amazing.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the people showed that they wanted to share. And everyone said, we will share it. Use my material, you can translate it, you can do whatever. Sort of the sharing community, I think, is excellent, because that's what we want OBM to be, a sharing community.
I love it. Excellent.
Yeah, and I think it's been such a lovely atmosphere, because everyone I talk to is so happy about this and really enthusiastic. So it's such a great energy, and people are actually reaching out and helping each other, discussing. So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I agree with what Leif, Annika and Sara said, but I think it was a great moment when we had the panel discussion with you, Manny and Shannon and Adam, where we really have an interaction with the entire audience in the US panel.
Yeah. And all these small interactions with people sharing, I think it's all these moments together. It's most fantastic, I think. Yeah.
And then 2 lovely comments. So one of those were just before the conference started, that people were very frustrated because they couldn't choose between the different sessions. And they were, I want to go to everything and I can't choose. And the other was that this session was too short. And even though every session is 2.5 hours plus of coffee break, and still it's too short. So that's amazing, because that means that people would like to learn even more and discuss even more. So that's sort of something that I hope will happen after the conference. People will continue to make sure that we do more of this.
Well, I love all your comments, and you mentioned the OBM network, and we did this panel. So tell folks, this is kind of a sub-question. So why the OBM network? Why did you reach out to the OBM network, and what did it mean to partner with the OBM network for you guys?
In some way, I think we want to show the world that we have a lot of people working with OBM, interestingly, here in Sweden. It was amazing that we bring more people here than we were in Miami, I think. Because it's really something to count with, Sweden as OBM.
Yeah.
And also, I think, I mean, a lot of us have gone to one or several of your conferences, so it's weird that we traveled from Sweden to the States in order to meet people in Sweden working with OBM. So it seems like a good idea to actually meet here. And that's so great that you wanted to come here, because that means we can have similar discussions and similar events in Sweden without having to travel for several hours to just go to the States.
We'll take turns. We'll take turns.
Yeah, right.
And also to use, I mean, you've been around for a while, and you're very positive and encouraging, and we can also learn from you, I guess. And also, I think that everything we have asked you, you said yes, we're willing to share, we're willing to come here, and that's very encouraging.
Well, it was my pleasure. I have learned a lot from coming here, so I'm walking away with ideas and inspiration as well. So it's been a pleasure. Absolutely. And I will come next time.
Yeah.
All right, I got 2 more questions for you. What are your hopes for the future of OBM as a field as a result of this conference? So if you have to inspire others or think about what the future holds, what is your hopes coming out of this conference?
I hope that we will be addressing more topics than we are today. Topics about well-being, the workplace, organizational culture, but also larger social topics like democracy and pollution, and environmental questions.
That came out a lot in this conference. Big social change. Yeah, I like that.
And on a smaller level, I think that we've joined people from different areas working with OBM, and from US working, and we have Poland and France and whatever. So I hope that we've joined different islands of OBM practitioners that in the future maybe can work more together. Because there's been a little bit of island, you in US and me in Sweden, and them working with autism, and this is little different islands, and I would like them to go together and now work together.
Yeah, I agree, and maybe in the future our presentations will be examples of how we have collaborated.
Oh, I like that. Actually, a build-off question, maybe between the 5 of you, could you tell our audience here, where did people come from that came to the conference? Where did they all visit from? There was a number of countries that came here. So can you highlight for the audience who showed up?
Of the different countries? Yeah, so we had a couple of people from the States, then the UK, and then one person from France, and then from Germany and Poland and Norway. But actually two of the 3 persons from Norway was from Iceland and Italy, and then a lot of people from Sweden. I think those were the countries, right?
Yeah, what a fantastic turnout.
Yeah, that's great.
As long as the OBM network's been doing conferences in the US, I don't think we've accomplished that. So that was well done. So any other hopes for the future around OBM as a result of this conference? Before I go to the last final question.
I hope that we've started a movement. I mean, it's the same thing that Leif said, that we're separate islands, but if we connect more together, I think we can sort of make people more aware of OBM than they are. Now sort of everyone is marketing themselves or their brand or their company or their consulting firm, but I hope that we could sort of give more examples of people working, giving examples and sort of starting a movement so they will notice that there's a lot of us. It's not one specific weird person. There's 2 weird persons there, but that's actually a lot of people, and I think this is a great thing to work with.
We're all a bunch of weirdos. So we might as well do it together.
I think also what Sarah said made me realize another thing that I picked up during these days is that people are interested in being more practical. Because I've been also to your conferences, and there's much of academic, intellectual level and research level, but here people talking about we have to be more simple, we have to be more straightforward, we have to be out there talking about just simple things. And I think that could be a way, a movement for us to introduce OBM for more people, trying to be more on the practical level. And I felt a lot of interest around that from this group. So that I think was interesting.
That's been one of the biggest takeaways for me coming out of here is I want to bring an OBM conference in the US that is practitioner focused, still allow for the academic focus, but also have another one that's for practitioners, because I think we lose sight of that and in a big way, and this one inspired me to do that. So
I think the immediate effect is that OBM in Sweden is going to be stronger from this conference. But the second thing is that we also could give much more to the world community of OBM because we are strong. So maybe more of things that we can give to United States or England or whatever from Sweden.
I think so. I think you definitely set a movement for sure. Okay, last question. So, in a few words, what would you like the world to know about OBM in Sweden and also the world at large? What would you like to communicate to folks about OBM in Sweden and the world at large? Just in a few words.
We have a history of using behavior analysis here from behavior therapy, cognitive behavior. So I think we are very good using behavior analysis in a lot of different situations. And there are a lot of people that know about OBM here in probably, I would say, about 2,000 people that know enough that they can use OBM. So we are a lot of people working with this. So yeah, I think people should know about Sweden. It's something to count with.
That's good. This is a tough question.
Yeah, it is. It's a
I
question.
think of what kind of audience do you think of when you ask that question? Who wants to?
So I definitely think of the first and foremost is the OBM network, right, which is a mix of students, practitioners, and academics. Then I also think of an audience which are the consumers, the people that are potentially going to watch this video and say, I want OBM, right? I want that in my business. I want that to help me strive to be a better workplace. And I think both will be watching this. So.
I don't know how we came there, but I think a lot, it might be for Sweden being a small country where people know each other, but I think there's a lot more companies working with OBM and using OBM. I spoke to the UK people and they said their company of 5 people are almost the only company in UK working with this. You know, there's some small consultants, but in Sweden I think there's a lot of small, slightly larger companies, a lot of them working with OBM, and I think that might be different, I don't know, from other countries, that we actually somehow we managed to make this zip through a lot of different areas, and it might be that Sweden is a small country, and a lot of the consultants and working with psychology and organization psychology know each other in some respect. So it's been easier for us to sort of make it wider in the marketplace.
Right. One of the things I took away from my last visit to Stockholm is many of the practitioners have worked together in one sense or another at one point or another, and maybe it's because it's a small country and a community of practitioners. But in the U.S., we're a small community, vastly not working together, and I think that for me that's been a big eye opener. That many times we say, "Oh, well, I worked with this person and this person and this project." So I thought that was very interesting, very, very insightful. What else? Anybody else have any comments for the world at large about OBM?
Maybe not the world at large, but the OBM community, because I think in one way that's one of the reasons that I like to travel to your conferences, because you're skilled, you have your basic degrees in behavior analysis, and most of us I think are psychologists or being trained by psychologists, so we have sort of a different educational background, and that means that we're very skilled when it comes to interacting with individuals and listening skills and all of those therapeutic skills. We're very skilled at those, but sometimes we need help with sort of there's not enough OBM research in Sweden, so we don't have all the knowledge that you have from the university. So I can be a lot of envious of you for that. So I think we have things to learn from each other.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think if we have the science strength, you have the listening strength. You have the coaching strength. So I think we can definitely absorb and work together.
And like Sarah said, I think that might have made it possible for us to be more practical, because we're not that science-oriented in that field. So when we read about your science and we apply it, so we're more applied, I think, in this country, maybe.
Which is why I love the title of the conference, right? Applied OBM.
So it's kind of interested in keeping up the balance between, you know, a strong theoretical foundation and then the applied, reaching out, simplifying it in a way. And we need help to do that, kind of. And I also see some kind of, you know, open source mindset here to share and to not to be too protected. Yes. Okay.
If I should point my answer to a broader audience of listeners, I would say that the OBM can offer an alternative to those topics now addressed by INO, psychology, and more, in many ways, more successful, more specific approach to those topics. So that would be my answer to that question.
I love it. Well, I really appreciate the interview. I hope you had fun with the interview, and I really appreciate the time. So, are we coming back to Stockholm next year? Is that the plan?
Yes, yes. Right. So we're so happy that the board of the SWABA, we applied to be host for the international conference, the biannual international conference on the ABAI, and we got it. So it's like winning the Olympic Games, right?
Fantastic.
So next year in September we'll have the international conference here in Stockholm again. So I hope everyone will come here.
All right, we'll have the OBM SIG section, and we'll come back. That'll be fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you very much.